So there was this lady, and she very young mother, and she was married to a warrior. And it's the English poem, "Home They Brought Her Warrior Dead," and I think by Tennyson. And so she was shocked when they brought the dead body of her husband. She was just shocked, still shocked, still, just sitting like that, not moving, completely shocked, cannot accept that this has happened, right? And everybody tried, to make her cry, because they said crying has to come, the tears have to come. She must weep or she will die, like that, right? And so one of them went and took the face, like the cloth off the face of the husband, so that she'll look at her husband and she'll cry. Did not do that, did not do that. They tried everything, pinching her, did not cry. And then one old nurse, she went and she brought her to 2-year old and put the child on her lap. And then she said, "Sweet my child, I live for thee." So when things like this come on, and I see that in your bhabhi a lot, Kathy
Yeah.
Mataji.
Yes.
She's living for her children. So it's hats off to her. When I talked to her that day, when she talked to all of us that day, um, it was
Yes,
really like,
Mataji.
it was her
That
strength of
is,
character is very, very commendable. Yeah,
and
admirable.
that's what she said, that it comes from,
And
because she has lived with Mehul Bhai, so she has seen that, right? So
yes, yes. And I'm pretty sure the kind of lady that she looked like, she will go and do something much better in this world. She will do much better.
She
And
seems
then
very, very strong. She seemed very strong, Kathy, the other day, right, Matthew? I found her like she's very strong. She has accepted the fact and moved on. That type of, she looked strong. Yeah.
right, right, yeah. And one has to be strong. Yeah, one has to be strong sometimes for the kid, sometimes for
Yeah.
somebody else, sometimes for a parent, like that. So we have to be strong. We have to be strong. Um, yeah. And I was telling that, and it was a miracle that I noticed that with our Adi Mataji, Aditi Sumani Mataji, whose grandmother passed away. So grandmother is like not even cousin, not even husband age. Grandmother is grandmother, very much expected to die. She was in her 90s. What were we expecting, right? But she was heartbroken. She was so heartbroken. And then I just told her one thing, that, there's so much of grief and sorrowful energy in you. Why don't you use that for in the service of Krishna? Just try to translate it, transpose that, convert that energy. And she took heed and she did it. I was very surprised that, the girl who was sobbing uncontrollably, and 8 or 9 hours later, she was calm and composed. She came to the temple program in the evening on Sunday. Monday, absolutely normal. Tuesday, ecstatic because she found how to distribute books. And you all know now, she's Amazon and bringing in hundreds of people into Bhakti community and things like that. So this is, yeah, it is a difficult thing. And only one who goes through it knows it. But others, over a period of time, our thing is to develop compassion. But then we also can't bear to see you crying, Kathy. So our heart
no,
goes out.
Mataji.
It goes out to
After
you in
that
your
day,
grief.
yeah, after that day, I've been praying, and when I find all these facts, also my whole point is that you should be aware and self advocate rather than just, it just to be like little precautious of that, that's the only purpose. That, like my scout, when I was in school, they used to say that everyone should know how to perform CPR. You can save someone's life
Yes, human
immediately.
life. Human life.
So
Yeah.
I think it just brings you into that awareness. You never know what Krishna's plan is and how you are going to use this in like some way, right? So, and like knowing him, what Varshana Mataji said was also, it's true. And then, I mean, my heart believes that he was a different person with a different consciousness. Never, like, so that's why his life was meant to utilize in Krishna's service in a different way. So
And you know what? I was thinking, about how every book has a name in it as to who's going to read it. So when you kept the book there, Bhagavatam, and gave it to him, And when he told you a few days before he left his body that he's planning to read, right? January 3rd, he said that.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
and that didn't happen. And which kind of shows that you never know, Kathy, but he has a younger brother who might take to it. You might not have thought about that, but he will take. So Krishna has his own plan.
Yeah, his younger brother also has it. Like we gifted both of them.
There you go. Yeah.
So
Or the kids might pick it up. You never know. The wife might pick it up. So Krishna's plans are amazing and different and unimaginable. And it takes a lot of work to a lot of devotional practice to accept that. And it's not easy. I can tell you, it's not easy. I mean, um, when these kind of things
and the
happen.
only thing we know that it's not for us, it's for him. So we have to be like give up our grief and let him go very peacefully and happily, because I don't think so he would have liked to see anyone in
Correct.
tears.
Yeah, in tears,
So
exactly. Exactly. That was one of the things that that Simi Mataji was asking the question, that what happens to the soul, right? After the soul dies. And so the soul, when the soul leaves the gross body, which is Utkramantam, steps out of the body. It's as if you're just stepping out of the body. As you step out of a room, the soul steps out of this gross body, right? But what it carries with it is the subtle body, the mind, the intelligence, the false ego goes, and the super soul. They all go with that soul into another body, another gross body. Now, in between the time that it goes, moves from one gross body to another gross body, it can take time depending on whatever the karmic reactions are, whatever Krishna's plans are. So it's a complicated thing. It's not necessary that some will be born again and get a gross body. Some might have to wait for it and things like that. But what happens is that they get a body, and then they get a body, which is not exactly gross, but they do have a little more thick than the subtle body. They get that body, which is known as Pret body, right? Pret, when they do the prayers at the death time, they will say, Pret this and Pret that, which means he's got a Pret body. And so, depending on how much attachments the soul has got, the soul can just leave and walk away. If the soul has got attachments, then the soul will linger around the home, near the dear ones, things like that. And Varshana Mataji had asked me, or I think Sutapa had asked, one of the two had asked me this question, that if somebody dies in India, then can the soul in the Pret body come to America because a child is here in America or something like that? I don't know the answer to that. But however, it stays in that body for 11 days or 13 days. And so that is why during those days, we offer prayers and have a diya and cook something that the person liked and things like that. And at the end of 11 or 13 days, then it, leaves and goes again, depending on what the destination is. It could be the hellish planets. Then Yamdutas are going to carry them there. It could be heavenly planets, which means they will go into the womb of some demigod. Or it could be they are liberated, at which time, which means that at the time of death, the the Yamdutas will not come, but instead the Vishnu Dutas are going to come. And the Vishnu Dutas they'll come with a nice vehicle, and they'll carry him away, right? You've heard the story of Vitthal, right? Kyati Mataji, from yours. He was leaving and his mom was following, like that. So same thing with Dhruv Maharaj also, we see that. He also.
Madhuri, for devotees also, do they get great body for 10, 11 days?
So that's what I'm saying. That it depends on what level of devotional service they have got, and we should not think too much about that. A Pret body is a bad body. It's just a material body. Are you made of iron, or are you made of glass? Are you made of silver? It's just that. Subtle body is just subtle in nature. It's more subtle in its composition, and others cannot see it. More earth is used to make the body, then it is more visible to you. If it's made up purely of mind and intelligence, these eyes, gross eyes, cannot see the body like that. Right? So they say at the time of death, and that is why, because the soul is attached to its own body, it's had lived there, right? And that's why they generally say that it's better to cremate the body, and that's it, like that, so that the soul will now have nothing to linger around and start in its destination. Ah, yeah, like that. Sometimes it takes about 1 year for them to reach to the planets and things like that. So there are other Puranas that talk about that. Prabhupada did not necessarily talk much about this part of the literature. And he was more focused on that, you just do the devotional service and a devotee doesn't even bother. He says that, where am I born? Am I born in a demon's family? Whether I am born as an animal, whatever, all that I want to, janmani, 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 Ishvare, bhavatam bhakti ahetuki tvai. In the Shikshastra verse we have got, right? Na janam, na janam, na janam, na dhanam, na
Dhanam
sunarim.
Najiri,
Right?
Kavitamam, Vishayamam.
There you go. Right? So all that he's asking is that all that I want is devotional service. So we can also pray, and prayers is such an important thing that you can you can help you can help a widow by giving money. You can help orphans by paying for their school fees and things like that. But what can you do for the one who's died? Prayers. Very rare to achieve, very rare to get. Because you can imagine that when the soul has left the body and is unable to find the way or whatever, so many things can happen depending on the way you died and how you died. So many things can happen, and a person, you can imagine, doesn't have a gross body to be able to do things. And so those left behind are the ones who can really, really help, chant with vigor, chant, pray, because prayers are the ultimate, because Krishna is the ultimate shelter, right?
So Mataji, what kind of prayers we can do at this time?
Prayer that comes from your heart will be the best at this time. It doesn't matter if they're not poetically constructed. If it is just a simple sentence like, Krishna, can you please help Mehul? Can you please, I'm doing these prayers. Can you please, I'm dedicating these prayers to him. Can you please, accept prayers on his behalf? You can always do, right? And as you continue down that path, Khyati, your horizon will broaden. Because then one day when you sit down to pray, you will say, why am I just praying for Mehul Prabhu? What about this? What about his wife? She also needs some prayer. What about the children? They also need. What about that person's children? What about this person's children? And then you realize this is Vasudev Kutumbakam, that you belong to a very big family. You are a daughter of Krishna, right? You're a daughter of Krishna, and there are so many souls that are suffering. And so this would be your way of helping the suffering souls, helping others. I mean, now that you've gone through this, and I can understand how heart-wrenching it is, because I lost my best friend when I was 18. Both of us were 18 at that time, and she had come to my home taking a detour. She didn't find me at my home. I had gone to the library to study. So she was coming in a rickshaw. She stopped the rickshaw and came, knocked at my door. My neighbors told me that, because nobody was at home. And so she came to my knock at my door, and then she climbed the rickshaw and then said, okay, she must have gone I must be at the college. So she started coming to the college, and the university was closed, and I was just studying the library in between breaks. And I can tell you how much I had, I always used to think that, oh my God, if only I had not gone to the library that day. If only I had stayed home. If only, the if onlys can torture us a lot. But then over a period of time, and then it was amazing. She used to suffer from severe colitic pains, severe pains. She used to double up with pain. And her mother, who was, of course, she was lamenting. And then, as part of the lamentation, she also uttered this, which is still ringing in my head, and which I related to later in life a lot. She said that if she had lived longer, she would have suffered these colitic pains. I'm glad that she is gone. Mother is saying like that. And then later on, when I grew up, and 18 means you're young and you are happy and you are You don't care, right? And and at that time it was like, I used to cry for me because I used to feel lonely. She was the best friend. She died and all that. But the gravity of her mom's word never hit me till I grew up, got married, became an adult, and had to really face the world. Right now, there are no mummy and daddy for you to run to. Now I'm facing all these things in life, and I used to say, "Hey, that friend of mine, she's lucky. She died at 18. She's not facing what I'm facing in life now." So God, in His wisdom, does all kinds of things. Yeah, all kinds of things.
Mataji, what happened to your friend then?
My friend, she passed away. She died from that accident.
Oh, she had an accident.
She had an accident. Yeah, 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 yeah. She came to my home, and then it's yeah, yeah. It was. I mean, it was a big shock for me because and then there is premonition also when you're very close to somebody. The premonitions also happen that she had headed in this direction to come and meet me in my university, and she met with an accident on the way. A truck came and hit her rickshaw, and she fell. Very simple, just fell down. Internal injuries, dead. And then later on, couple of hours later, I was going to see the doctor, and I was crossing the way, and so where the body had fallen, they had put some bricks over there. And so when I was on my bike, and I saw this, and I was like, oh my god, I hope it is not she. I don't know, why would I think like that? Why would anybody think like that? I hope it is not my friend. And then I,
Yeah.
I I went to the doctor, could not sustain. That thing was burning in me, that I'd seen that. And I went to the optometrician from the doctor's office. I went to to get the glasses done, and it was across the road. So there I said, I need to call. Can I use your phone? Can I call? So I called her, and then the phone. Someone picked up the phone and said hello, and I heard her voice, and I was just saying that I am so happy to hear your voice, because I was just going to tell her. And then it was actually her younger sister who picked up the phone, and they sounded the same on the phone. And the younger sister just came and told me that elder sister is dead. And I do not know, I do not know when the phone fell from my hand. When I sat down, I have no idea. Like that. um but it is so, I know what it means, really, really means what it means to suddenly have all the doors closed. So many stories I didn't tell, so many jokes I had learned, and I was going to tell this, I was going to tell that, and things like that. So
Mother,
this is
the
what life
same thing for me, for my brother. Since 2016, I have been telling him to take his health little seriously, and I never tell this to my other brother, although he always have obesity issues since childhood. But I don't know, I never told him, and I was always worried about my this brother. And on Sunday, like a day before he passed away, I messaged him that I just want to talk to him for 5 minutes, and I wanted to give him the news that I haven't told anyone yet. And it was just not a good time, and then it's always, I don't know why I had this premonition since past 3 months also, that something like this is going to happen. I just didn't understood. Now in the retrospection, we can say that it was like, it's Krishna's will that it has to happen at that time. Your intellect just doesn't work. Even though you have premonition, you can't act on it.
So now you will see that the verses from Bhagavad Gita will now, you have read the Gita once, right? Two times, three
Yes.
times, four times. So now you're understanding it philosophically. Now the second part of the learning is happening, and that is you are applying it. Now you're saying, oh, sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishta, matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha. Aponam, forgetfulness. Oh, I should have said that.
Yes.
Oh, I should have said that. No, it all happened according to Krishna's plan. So he doesn't allow others to mess with his plans.
Yes,
Unless some
Mataji.
devotees come and really beg him, and then, he will change like that.
That's what Krishna's plan means. Today evening I had some class from Mataji, from Bhagavatam. What Parikshit Maharaj, when that Shringi, that boy, he is so knowledgeable. He is a brahmachari. He took the training from his father. He is very knowledgeable. But the spur of this moment, he cursed that Parikshit Maharaj. And Parikshit Maharaj was also is a very nice king, and he's very spiritual and everything. He's a very good devotee. But he also, spur of the moment, he put the snake on his that Rishi's neck.
Around the neck of the.
Those things, that is something Krishna's plan. Why that boy, that he's well educated, why he behaved at that moment. And then Parishit Maharaj, when he did that, he did it, but after he went to the palace, he realized that he did a mistake. He should not have done that. But those things, and when Krishna, he protected Parikshit Maharaj in Uttara's womb. But at that time, how come it did everything? It didn't stop. Krishna didn't do it. But he wants him back to him in 7 days. That's why he did the Bhagavatam, and then he just went there. That's what I thought today. Those things, Krishna's plans are something, we think something, and he has some plans.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna,
But at the
Mataji.
same time,
Mataji,
whatever years we spend, Mataji, I spent 50 years with my husband, but still at the last moment, he had some problem. But I still felt, he would have stayed if he would have 2 more years, 3 more years. So then my daughter said, Mom, after 3 years, you will let him go? Tell me, after 3 years also, I won't let him go. I don't feel that. But still, he didn't suffer more. But at that moment, I also didn't cry, Mataji. Afterwards, whenever I think, I get little emotional. But at that moment, I was just chanting Hare Krishna. I was doing the parikrama, and then I was loudly chanting in front of him. That's it. I didn't even cry. So that happens sometimes. I don't know why. We don't know.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Khyati Mataji, yesterday, last week, children were playing and they were flying the kite. The thread of the kite hurt the neck of a boy. He was nearly 14, 15 years old, and his neck was, some part of it was cut. He was admitted in the hospital, and yesterday he passed away, Mataji.
Oh, no.
Just 18 years old. And what was his fault? They were just playing, Mataji. He passed away. So sad.
This makes like life is so unpredictable, and as
Unpredictable.
Kamala
Shraddha
Jalamala Jivana Talamala. Kamala Jaladala Jivana Talamala. What is that? On a lotus leaf, if you put a drop of water, you see how the water wobbles like that. This is how life is.
Tarahure bhava sindhure.
Right?
there is like a very good Gujarati prayers that we usually sing after like the soul leaves the body, and the first word itself is "Je jeev avyo aap sharne sharan malai apnavjo paramatma e atma ne shanti sachi aapjo."
Yeah.
So that is what I keep praying, that he has come into like, because he always believed whatever is happening to, or whatever he's able to do is all because of Srinathji's kripa. So we learn that lesson and try to apply. I think my bhabi, my bhai, and like 3 of us, we individually, I mean, anyone who knows him will just identify this trait in him. So that's all we can do. We can adopt that in our life and go on with our life with that.
Exactly. You remember there was a question Meera Mataji asked, that how can I be Krishna consciousness and how can I, be in service of Krishna all the time, right? Like I can't be cooking for Krishna and pressing his feet and washing his altar all the time, right? How do I do things for Krishna whole time? And the answer I could give her was, there are 2 things that you do. One is that you do things for Krishna. You do his arti, you sit down, you chant to him, you cook food for him, all that. That's exclusively for Krishna. And then the other part that you do is that you do as he wants you to do. When you do whatever he wants you to do the way he wants you to do, then also he is pleased. So there are 2 ways in which you can please him 24/7, like that. So same thing here also, right? What is the best way? What will be the best tribute that you can pray and that you can offer, right? Is to like, this is what you did and I'm going to do this also. You had compassion for everybody, I'm going to do this also, right? So like that. And that's what the wife was saying, right? That that I have donated the skin and the eyes, I think, right? Because I know this is
Yeah.
what you would have wanted to do, right? So this is what you would want to do, right?
Mm.
And and I can only say this, and it will not make any sense to you, but the wound which is so sharp right now, that wound will dull over a period of time. The pain will also, slowly ebb away, and happy days are going to come again. And that is the law of nature. Happy days will come again and again, again and again, again and again. Yeah, what does he say? Marth sparshastu konteya sitoshun sukha dukkhada agam apanyo anityastam titikshasva bharata. So he's saying that these are whatever we feel is because of the sense perception, right? And then
Mm.
sense is also the mind. And then these come and go. Agam apanyo. They come and they go. Just like seasons come and go, but they are anityas. They are not permanent. Neither happiness nor distress. And which is a good thing to know, because when there is distress, there is hope that this is also temporary. And when there is happiness, there is a caution there that don't get swept away by too much of happiness, because disaster is around the corner, and this is a cycle. It keeps on going again and again, again and again, again and again. So all that we can do is to tolerate,
Mm.
because
Yes,
toleration is a neutral thing. But how can I tolerate is to chant the holy names of the Lord. And you have such a nice set of friends, who are willing to reach out to you, talk to you. And one of the things that you should always do when you sit and talk and reach out to somebody is say, chant the holy names of the Lord. First do that, because that's the only thing that will have effect.
Mm.
Other things, you can go on a crusade against the doctors. You can pick up negligence as your mantra, that I'm going to take care of all the doctors, I'm going to bring awareness. So those are good causes. Prabhupada used to say that there is good cause and there is great cause. And you have
Yes.
no idea how much value you bring to these classes. And other day you were not there, and we were struggling with some story from the epics, and I was saying, if only Kathy was here, she would have told the story better. I was trying to tell a story, and I was like, she's so lucky to have had a grandmother like that, who was telling her story. So this is what Krishna has given you. This is what Krishna has arranged for you, and so use that and expand that. And that is the only thing that will give you peace. Nothing else can give us peace, because like I was telling to the Modesto congregation member the other day, that we have problems in life. And you might like it, Kathy, because this guy came from Albert Einstein. And basically what he said was that when there are problems situated, when there is a problematic situation that is created, then in order to solve that problem, you need a higher consciousness. Simply put, like
Yes.
it, and the example I gave, because I'm very simple minded, is that if you're a small child and you try to tie your shoelaces and you have messed it all up, right? They're all now in knots and there's no flower there as you should have. Then as a 2-year-old or 4-year-old, you cannot do anything. You can't solve it. You need a 6-year-old, 8-year-old elder brother or your parents to come and help you unknot whatever mess that they have created. So similarly, here in the material world, whenever we have these situations which are created by material energy, because of the sheer fact that we are in this material world, whenever such situations are created for us, there cannot be a material solution. One material solution is somebody died. Okay, let me get drunk, pass out, forget it forever. And then guess what? Next day, you have the worst headache, right? Hangover, as they say, worst hangover. So what happened? You tried a material solution to a problem, material problem. Doesn't work. On the other hand, if you take a spiritual solution, which is at a higher consciousness, right? So if you go to that higher consciousness, then you'll be able to solve that problem. So again and again, again and again, and this might be a time, Kathy, that you will learn. If you have not already learned, maybe you have, and I'm pretty sure that you will learn how to bump up your chanting to a higher level. When they say that you should really be crying like a child, right? How do I cry like a child? Now, this is a real desperate thing, that something so final like death has happened. right? And what more situation, what could be a worse situation for us to feel that we are helpless? When somebody loved passes away, it cannot be control Z. There is no undo command. When death is there, death has happened. That person has gone, like that. Our desperation is to the extremes, and this would be a good time to sit down and say, okay, can we do a round of chanting? Should we do a round of chanting now? Should we bring out a japa mala? Should we do a round of chanting? What do you say, Simi? She's nodding her head.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. So let me get my feedback from there, and we'll start. Okay. Everybody ready with the chanting beads? Everybody on the internet? Everybody here on Zoom? Everybody's ready?
Yes, Mataji.
All right. Om Jnanatimrandasya Jnananjan Shalakya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. So let's do something here. Let's just read and finish the chapter 17 of Bhagavad Gita, so that we are finishing with our daily chores, right? So we'll do that. And how about we have Kathy Mataji read the whole chapter for us today? Are you in a position to read, Kathy Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, I can
Yeah.
read, but I think it would be better if all the devotees read. I already made the reading order.
All right. So
For simplicity purpose, I can read. I think because you have to go soon, right? So
well, changing the order doesn't matter. It's not that. I just wanted to give you that choice if you want to, but you have gone for a higher choice, which is always good. Yeah. So why don't you start? And I will call out the names of the other Matajis, and they can. Then when I call out your name, please read, because you don't have a reading order today, or at least to my knowledge. Okay.
Mataji, I made one to have the.
You made one? All right. All right. Then we will follow that, what you made. That makes life definitely easier. And you might want to do a round and ask if they want to
Yeah.
if they want to
So I
read.
think for the reading order, I have Vindhyavali Mataji, Sukomala Radhe Mataji, Archana Mataji, Varshana Mataji. I saw Garima Mataji. Are you in a position to read?
Yes, Mataji.
And Namasya.
Namasya Mataji.
Hmm.
Can you read, please?
Yes, I can read.
Okay. Simi Mataji, then Sukhrupa Mataji, Shruti Priya Mataji, then I will read, and then Vindhyavali Mataji. So I think we are starting from me. So go to the Vindhyavali.
Rupa Mataji cannot read, she just said.
Oh, okay, okay. So I'll just Sukhrupa Mataji, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so I can start reading. Chapter 17, The Divisions of Faith. Text 1. Arjuna inquired, O Krishna, what is the situation of those who do not follow the principles of scriptures but worship according to their own imagination? Are they in goodness, in passion, or in ignorance? Text 2. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, according to the modes of nature acquired by the embodied soul, one's faith can be of three kinds: in goodness, in passion, or in ignorance. Now, hear about this. Vindhyavali Mataji. Mataji, are you reading on mute? You can unmute yourself.
Text 3. I'll go this to Srila Prabhupada. O son of Bharata, according to one's existence under the various modes of nature, one evolves a particular kind of faith. The living being is said to be of a particular faith according to the modes he has acquired. Text 4. Mataji. Men in the mode of goodness worship the demigods. Those in the mode of passion worship the demons. And those in the mode of ignorance worship ghosts and spirits. Hare Krishna. Archana Mataji? No. Sukamala Mataji?
Thank you. Text 5 and 6. Those who undergo severe austerities and penances not recommended in the scriptures, performing them out of pride and egoism, who are impelled by lust and attachment, who are foolish and who torture the material elements of the body, as well as the super soul dwelling within, are to be known as demons. Text 7. Even the food each person prefers is of three kinds according to the three modes of material nature. The same is true of sacrifices, austerities, and charity. Now hear of the distinctions between them. Archana.
Thank you so much, Komal Mataji. Text 8. Foods dear to those in the mode of goodness increase the duration of life, purify one's existence, and give strength, health, happiness, and satisfaction. Such foods are juicy, fatty, wholesome, and pleasing to the heart. Text 9. Foods that are too bitter, too sour, salty, hot, pungent, dry, and burning are dear to those in the mode of passion. Such foods cause distress, misery, and disease. Varshana Mataji, Hare Krishna, done with pranam.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Dandavat Pranam. Text 10. Food prepared more than 3 hours before being eaten. Food that is tasteless, decomposed, and putrid, and food consisting of remnants and untouchable things is dear to those in the mode of darkness. Text 11. Of sacrifice, the sacrifice performed according to the directions of the scripture as a matter of duty by those who desire no reward is of nature of goodness. Hare Krishna. Garima Mataji.
Hare Krishna, thank you, Mataji. But the sacrifice performed for some material benefits or for the sake of pride. O chief of Bharatas, you should know to be in the mode of passion. Text 13. Any sacrifice performed without regard for the direction of scriptures, without distribution of prasadam, spiritual food, without chanting of Vedic hymns and remunerations to the priest, and without faith, is considered to be in the mode of ignorance. Hare Krishna, Namaste Mataji.
Hare Krishna, test 14. Austerity of the body consists in worship of the Supreme Lord. The Brahmanas, the spiritual master and superior like, the father and mother, and cleanliness, simplicity, celibacy, and non-violence. Test 15. Austerity, simplicity, gravity, self-control, and purification of one's existence are the austerities of the mind. Hare Krishna, Simi Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Uh, This threefold austerity performed with transcendental faith by men, not expecting material benefits but engaged only for the sake of the Supreme, is called the austerity in goodness. Penance performed out of pride and for the sake of gaining respect, honor, and worship is said to be in the mode of passion. It is neither stable nor permanent. Shruti Priya Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Text 19. Penance performed out of foolishness with self-torture or to destroy or injure others is said to be in the mode of ignorance. Text 20. Charity given out of duty without expectation of return at the proper time and place and to a worthy person is considered to be in the mode of goodness. Khyati Mataji.
Hare Krishna, text 21. But charity performed with the expectation of some return or with desire for future results or in a grudging mood is said to be charity in the mode of passion. Text 22. And charity performed at an impure place at an improper time to unworthy persons or without proper attention and respect is said to be in the mode of ignorance. Hare Krishna, Vindhyavali.
Text 23. From the beginning of creation, the three words Om, Tat, Sat were used to indicate the supreme absolute truth. These three symbolic representations were used by Brahmanas while chanting the hymns of the Vedas and during sacrifices for the satisfaction of the Supreme. Mataji, can you scroll it, please? Text 24. Therefore, transcendentalists undertaking performances of sacrifice, charity, and penance in accordance with scriptural regulations begin always with Om to attain the Supreme. Hare Krishna, Sukamla Mataji.
Text 25. Without desiring fruitive results, one should perform various kinds of sacrifice, penance, and charity with the word Tat. The purpose of such transcendental activities is to get free from material entanglement. Text 26 and 27. The absolute truth is the objective of devotional sacrifice and it is indicated by the word Sat. The performer of such sacrifice is also called Sat, as are all works of sacrifice, penance, and charity, which, true to the absolute nature, are performed to please the Supreme Person, O son of Pritha. Archana.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Text 28. Anything done as sacrifice, charity, or penance without faith in the Supreme, O son of Pritha, is impermanent. It is called Asat and is useless both in this life and the next. Om Tat Sat.
That's it. Okay.
Mataji, can I share? I wanted to speak something actually to Khyati Mataji, but unfortunately my microphone was not working at that time.
Yeah.
As you, yeah.
A few minutes.
So
Yeah.
yeah, only just
Okay.
I mean, 2
Go
seconds.
ahead.
That's it. So Khyati Mataji, I'm really feeling very, I don't have words to express, but my heart just goes out to you and your whole family. So I just pray to Srimati Radharani and Shri Krishna so that they give you the spiritual strength to you and to your family members. And just pray to the Lord, Mehul Bhai, he reaches, the supreme destination. So yeah. And please feel free to reach out to us. We are always there with you. And yeah, I don't have.
Thank you so much, Mataji, and thank you so much, all the devotees. I truly depend on the prayers and mercy of all Vaishnavas. So I know that my brother is getting all that affection and prayers, and he's at a better place. And we are also happy to see him that he's at a better place. So it's tough, but with all the devotees and your prayers, will be. I mean, we will be better. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Yeah, don't worry, Mataji. Time will heal everything. It'll take some time, but yeah, everything will be fine. That's all.
And sorry, Shraddha Mataji, to keep you waiting. I know you have another office call.
That's okay. Yeah. That's okay. Yeah. Yeah. The power of devotee association, to have devotees around you, is the best thing. And you can trust Vindhyavali Mataji and you can trust me because we have lived the most on this planet as compared to any of you. So
I'm the senior most.
yeah. Yeah.
And you never know. Probably you are on a shorter journey than we are, or
Yeah.
being on a longer journey as a soul, on this earth. So,
You
because
never
I think
know.
longer you stay, later you get the Krishna's mercy, and you have got like such a nice mercy.
You have
So,
no, we have no idea how all that happens. But bhakti comes from bhakti, mercy comes from Krishna, and we are all on the path. You have got a spiritual master to guide you, and who, by the way, said a few days ago that you should chant and you should hear what you're chanting. That was instructions. And then more recently on Saturday, he actually said a very nice thing, and he said it's a delegation. I don't know what ordain. What was the word he used? I'm forgetting, but it was kind of like, when a higher authority gives that power to a lower person to carry that out. Like when the king is away, acting prime minister or the acting minister has to act as the king, like that. So he was saying that you're deputed. Yeah, deputed is the word he used. So the chanting of the holy name has been deputed to us, which means, and suddenly when he said that, it opened my eyes that now I started taking it as, oh my goodness, this is something coming from higher and has been given to us as a sacred duty to perform. So that brings a totally different and a new dimension to chanting. And I always think that whenever I have to chant an extra round during these classes for whatever reason, sometimes they're happy reasons, sometimes they're sad reasons, but I always think in my mind that, I didn't chant my rounds properly today. So Krishna is saying, okay, now do one more, try one more, try and do one more, like that. But yeah, whatever the occasion, any occasion to chant the holy names of the Lord is the best occasion. And
Mataji, can you say that again? I didn't get it.
so he
Just
was
now
saying,
what you were saying about the chanting.
yeah. So he was saying that chanting is the act of chanting is actually delegated to us, that we should chant and then we should spread the chanting to other people. So that's a duty that we have. Number one, to chant properly because it pleases Krishna, and then he has ordained us and delegated that job to us, because it was originally started by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? He wanted to spread the names of the holy names of the Lord, and then he said, all of you go and spread, right? Nagaradi gram prithvi te ache nagaradi gram sarvatra prachar hoye mera naam. So he wants the name to be spread. So how can we spread? So to be able to spread that, first we have to raise ourselves to that consciousness so that there's an overflow of devotional energy. Then we'll be able to distribute and spread it to others, like that. So because now it's something that Krishna has given. It's like a duty that Krishna has given to us. So chanting becomes even more important for us, right? It's not just something that, okay, fine, And so two things came, one on the top of other for me. One was the spiritual master saying that you have to hear, like one more time coming and saying you have to hear what you're chanting, and then to tell that it's your duty to chant.
Ravanam and Kirtanam.
Yeah, yeah. So keep those things. This will pass. And the good thing is that we have Krishna Katha in abundance all along. And I know, Kathy, you also participate in reading sessions in here and there. So these will sustain you. These vibrations are going to sustain you, and we'll all pray for you.
Thank you, Mataji. And while chanting, I prayed for Varshana Mataji. Also mentioned that incident of 18-year-old, right? So I
There
prayed
you go.
for
There you
him
go.
as well.
There you go. It's spreading all over. And I remember when they used to call it manja, that thread, when they make the thread stiff, they actually run
Yeah,
it through broken glass, so there's glass all over it.
it
And
cuts
so it
like
can cut. And I remember my father saying that it can cut the throat. So I was always scared of, flying kites and close to that. So there used to be two kinds of thread. One was that sharp thread and the other was called saddi. It was a smooth one. So I used to just play with the smooth one. Even I could never fly a kite for my life. Vidyavadhu could fly. I could not. So anyway, so my father had told me that, but I had never come. I just thought it was a caution. I knew that sometimes the hands would be cut, but he had said throats can be cut. And there you go. Again.
But taking life is something.
Kamala Jalamala Jeevana Talamala. Yeah. This is so now when you look
Unfortunately,
at all
Mataji,
around, yes. When you look at all this around you, then we have to understand how bad the situation is. How bad the situation is. Right in the middle of, who was it who was telling me, I was listening to a lecture by one of our, devotees, and he was saying that he declared that he had topped an exam and got a very good marks. And then within a few hours, something like that, some parent was diagnosed with cancer or something like that. Same day it can happen. From the heights of happiness, you can fall down to the depths of despair. And this is the nature of this material world. So our thing should be, Lord, give us the strength to handle this, right? And possibly let me go there to where I belong, in the Golok Vrindavan.
Krishna says he's time, so he has to make us heal that thing.
Yes.
Priya Mataji has a question.
He's time. He has to help.
Shruti Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
Mm-hmm.
So I keep reminded about this saying that when a soul comes, right, it takes birth. At the time of the birth, set number of breaths are allocated. So then you cannot live beyond that, and that's why these sages in the olden days used to have long breaths so that they can elongate their duration on the earth.
Yeah.
But that time is already set when we are born, and we forget. Sorry. Yeah. And we forget. We are we get so attached to that is very natural, because we have emotions. We get attached to our family members, and then it's hard. The memories are the hardest, and Krishna is time. They say.
Yeah.
They say so. Krishna helps.
Very nice.
Helps.
Very nice. And so one thing I will advise is, don't live in the memory. Don't live in the past. For whatever reason, try not to live in the past, because past can do lots of things to you and spoil a present. There's nothing we can change about the past. Nothing. We are present in this moment. This is the moment where we are, and we have to make use of this moment. Catch your attention and see, what am I doing? Oh, I'm living in the past. I was thinking about how that person, I had such a nice time with that person was rude, that person died, this and that, like that, right? That's in the past. And what happened? We wasted some of our present time here by thinking about it. So best use is to make use of the present. Like they say, the word present means gift also, right? It's a gift to you, gift of God. So make use of that. It is difficult. It's a difficult time. And yeah.
Future is also not in our hands.
Yes.
Only present is the present.
Yes. And having talked about the number of breaths and everything, all that is, the material destiny that is there, but all that can be overridden by Shri Krishna. Okay. So keep that in mind, that he rules. Maya adhakshena prakriti suyate chacharacharam hetuna nenya konteya jagat viparivartate. that, everything that the Prakriti is under my Devi Esha Gunamayi, Mama Maya Durataya, Mame Vaya Prapadyante, Mayam Etam Tarantite. So she's very difficult to overcome, but if you surrender her to me, then I will help you cross over this material ocean. So on that hopeful note, we'll have to stop this session, although I don't like to go. I just want to give a nice hug
don't want
to Skadi Mataji. If it was not Corona, I would have come and met you. I really don't want to carry whatever I could be carrying, right? Because we get groceries and all that from outside. So I'm just being doubly cautious of not meeting people like that. So take care, all of you, and think of Krishna, dream of Krishna, and say Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam. Svancha kalpa tarubhyascha. Kripa sindhubhya eva cha. Patitanam pavnebhyo. Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Gopimanande Hari Hari Bol.
we have to leave, Mataji.
No,
We have to leave.
I'll be right back. Just 23 hours.
We have to leave. You.
You can stay here, no problem. Because my other call is on Google. If you want to continue, I can.
Always think we have to leave. You.
Everybody has
Anyway,
to
Hare Krishna to everybody.
Hare